Hey everyone, it's Nick from Nick's Crossing. Welcome back to the train room. And today we're going to be talking about the new and improved layout that I'm building up here. Go through some of the destruction that I did up here, and just talk about the new layout. So here we go. All aboard. Alright guys, so I've been talking about rebuilding layout number 3 for a while now. Probably about a month or 2 months or so. And after seeing all these beautiful modular layouts, I sort of thought about doing that on my own. Up here in the train room, I have limited space. This room is about 12.5 feet wide. It's about 18 feet deep or so. So I'm very limited to space, on top of having my shelf behind me, other collection pieces everywhere in the room, and my workbench to my left. So it is a very cramped space, but I'm going to try to utilize every inch of the space that I can. So the new layout will actually hopefully be the last layout I build up here. I think I said that maybe the last 2 times I built a layout up here, but we'll have to see. But there's a couple main reasons on why I'm rebuilding the layout. Now, the main reason, I'll tell you guys, the crawl space on my left right here, which I'll show you guys, they're at these creepy little doors and they go to a mystic land in the attic. But the left one had a moisture problem that started creeping up with some like mold and things like that. You'd come up here and you'd smell something kind of funky, and I actually caught it very early. I found out it was actually a problem with a bathroom fan, so it's very easily fixed. So I got that taken care of, and the bathroom now is totally sealed from the attic. We're good to go. Also treated all the mold in there professionally with a mold ease chemical, so we are rolling up here. It smells great. It smells very refreshing, and hopefully that keeps that moisture problem down. Now the crawl space on my right, on this side, which I'll show you guys as well, that is actually full of my Halloween decorations. So I love setting up for Halloween. I'm hoping this year, 2022, I'm going to set up Halloween and enjoy that as well. I'll put that on the channel as well as soon as we get closer to Halloween, of course. But that's very important to get to as well, because all my decorations, spooky stuff, is in that side. So dead inside, right over there. Now the other thing too, with the old layout, layout number 2, I could not reach half the layout. And the reason why I say half the layout, the extension I built, the 5x7 extension, I could not physically reach over it or climb on the benchwork, because it was all built lightweight on purpose to eliminate some of the stress of the attic up here, some of the weight on the stress or whatever. So I could not access most of that town. So once the buildings were set, the scenery is done. It was kind of done loosely with spray glue, so it wasn't very very sound. And then to my left, where this attic door is, where that track was, if a train were to derail on that switch, I'd actually have to reach under the platform, and then actually here I'm using I'm actually using this Reading car for all my hardware. This Reading hopper, and there's a guy in there. So I'd actually have to reach over and then grab the car and then turn it upside down and pull it underneath the platform. It was crazy. I felt like, Thing from Addams Family, only having like this movement. So it was not working out for sure. So I thought about it. After going to a lot of train shows this year, getting back into the swing of things, and even just hanging out at shows with friends and meeting new friends, of course, I noticed that a lot of the layouts at these shows, the club layouts, were modular, about 2 feet wide, 2.5 feet wide, and they could run about 2 or 3 trains on them at a time and just run the trains and enjoy them. So that's the idea with this new layout. I want to build a space to run trains, longer trains, bigger trains, of course, preparing for the future there. And I'm going to use 072 curves with 054 inner curves and have a little bit of scenery here and there, backdrops, of course, little cityscape using all my town buildings. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm going to get into some of the bench work with you guys, what I plan on doing. Just still brainstorming right now, but I really wanted to put out a video to show you guys the progress of the layout as we go along. So maybe we'll install a couple pieces so you guys get an idea, and then we'll do a couple part series. We'll see how this all goes together. So I'm going to spin you guys around and show you what's up. Alright guys, so where I'm sitting right now is actually where I host Monday Run Day up here. You can see where this is right now. Now if you look to my right, here's the Christmas closet in there with my CSX no trespassing sign. And then right here you have the first crawl space. So this is filled with Halloween and other festive goods, and it's a perfect space to store stuff. There's also a light in there. So if I go to my left, right in there where those models are, that's the problem door right there. So I have to be able to access both of those crawl spaces. So the solution that I thought up with just placing the shelves here, I was brainstorming, and it kind of helps to reach out to your family about ideas sometimes, especially if your dad's a carpenter. He recommended this, and this is brilliant. He said, "Why don't you build your platform so the benchwork comes up right about here on the door frame, so you can access the panels here, and then it'll be high enough to get your stuff out because you have to crawl in there anyways. It's a little bitty door." So I said, you know what? At first I was just kind of like, no, I'll lose track space, whatever. But I thought about it. So no matter what, I put the track here, you have about, 4 inches or so, 3-4 inches. So you hit the eave right here. That's still enough room for clearance. So no matter what, I'd have to back away from this wall anyways. So the front or the nose of the engine won't scrape the wall. So it works out. So my track or my platform will come up to right about this line right about here. And we're going to mount them up using these shelves. We're going to marry up to these posts right here, go up from the bottom here. We're going to use this as like all our bearing force be pushing down onto this shelf, which are very strong. These are like riveted metal pins. We'll put the stick lumber in. We're going to drag her up to right about here. Then we'll just lay down our 1/8 inch ply. So that's the idea. So I'll show you guys the progress as we move along. What I hope to do with the layout is actually have this go around me and go all the way out to the end of that door to give me some space between my desk and whatnot. Come out this way and then S-curve back into this little alcove right here in the corner of the room. Now, yes, there's stuff everywhere. Look at that. It's nuts. Right? It's all about running trains and such. There's all the lumber I recycled from the old platform. There's all the plywood sheets over there. But yeah, we're in great shape. I have tons of lumber left over. I bought more lumber, thankfully, through the clearance stuff at Home Depot. $1.50 for like furring strips, like 1x4 furring strips, which are like fantastic for framing stuff up. By the way, here's the mold remover I use. This stuff's great. Mold armor. This kills, it literally kills everything. Like, there you go. So, yeah, I sprayed this in that room, and the room is perfectly dry. No evidence of anything, and it smells fantastic. This is really like a bleach solution. I'm not trying to sell chemicals here, but if you guys ever have mold, look up this brand, Mold Armor. Stuff's great. So, but anyways, we're going to get to some bench work here. And I'll bring you guys back when I make some progress. Alright guys, so I got a lot of work done in the meantime, and now it's dark outside. Last time I talked to you guys, it was still light out. You could hear people playing outside, lawnmowers, motorcycles, you know, you name it, it was out there. Even the Amish horse was on the road there, so the buggy. So anyways, I got a lot of work done up here in the meantime. Did some cuts. I was able to extend the shelf height to about 17 inches above the lower shelf to clear the little attic doors. I have a whole system picked out for that. It's going to be awesome. But yeah, I'm going to show you guys in a second. But first, a couple things. This room is in no way, shape, or form level. Maybe 100 years ago this room was level, but there's a dip in the floor and everything just is pumped out. Doesn't mean it's not sturdy. This house is extremely sturdy and sound. It's just an old house. It's a wood frame house, so things are going to move. But the layout, because of that, I tried leveling things out. It just was a nightmare. So I'm just going to wing it with that. And if it gets really bad, I'll be able to actually level out the track using the underlayment material. That I'm going to use the white foam that you guys have seen on this channel before. And we'll be able to level things out. But I think it'll be perfectly fine. And in the corner, actually the corner I was working in is going to be slightly raised. So think of it as like a bank turn. So that's actually going to be kind of cool with that. But there's ways to fix it. Like I said, scenery, leveling things. So I'm not too worried about it at all. So got some framing done. Did lots of backtracking on this one. So I would put something together and say, oh, you know, I can do it better. Or hardware would fail and I'd have to get new hardware out of the drawer to fasten things together, or different type of screws and things like that. So it has been a challenge, but I accept. But it looks great. It's really coming along. So I'm going to spin you guys around and show you what I've been working on. And you will see trains on the shelves. honestly, I took them down when I was doing the bench work, and then I put everything back up so nothing would get damaged. But most of the stuff could stay on the shelves and not, not be damaged or anything. So I'm not too worried about it. So here we go, guys. I'll spin you around one last time. All right, guys. So here is the attic door. So here are these extension posts that I built. And from here to the bottom of this shelf right here where the level's at, this actually goes up 17 inches or so. And I was able to put the furring strip lumber, this is right here, and fasten that to the 2x2. So that works really well. Actually, these might be 1x1s, but I think they go by like 2x2s. Not exactly sure. But this is all framed together. These are actually screwed in. So that's extremely strong. You can actually I can almost put all my upper body strength on that. It's not moving. That's also fastened into there, just like framing up a house. So this corner here is extremely strong right here. If I really wanted to, I could put in another crossbar, but there's a, close clearance between the wall and the shelf. So I won't worry about that, but I will put one in right here across to there when I start making my cuts. So these pieces of lumber, these are just roughed in right now. Actually, this one's not, but that one back there is roughed in. So right about here, I'm gonna make a cut and cut it straight across. And this will be either like a triangle going down to the frame here to create a support, and then also clearance for the door. And then there'll just be a piece of plywood over, like I said, this won't be here. So a piece of plywood, then the supports will meet up right over here in this corner, right where that mic stands at. And then that will be a box support for the track to come out that way to go towards that door over there. So it's going to be very strong. So anyways, I did this little framing in here, and I had to cut each one of these pieces, the 17-inch extensions, and they're just fastened into the shelf. Like right, let's see, there we go. And these are not going to lift up. They're fastened in. And plus all the force will be pushing down on these. So unless you have to lift up, they should be perfectly fine. Eventually I will put cross beams in here, going from one to the other side. And then if we move on, same with here. Now these boxes that I made, these should be extremely strong with the plywood and then the foam put on top. And this wood here, this is a pine. It is nice and soft, so you can actually use like 1-inch screws to put down the plywood, and it stays really nicely. So I tried that out, experimented, it worked. So if we move down, I fastened these two, and then this shelf will actually move down just a hair to make room for that piece of lumber roughed in back there. But this gap here is going to be covered over. You can see in the corner, I actually cut a post to eventually frame in with this top piece here, so everything is nice and sturdy. And then I'll have plenty of room to get to the window back there, and also put a fan in the window frame. And I forgot to mention that as well. Over here, I tested it. I can actually fit through here, through this little space to open and close the window, so it's not a fire hazard or whatnot. And the funny thing is, my light switch right here, the plywood comes up right underneath this lip of the light switch. So I thought that was kind of funny. I'm going to switch this face out. I have I believe it's a big boy faceplate I'm going to put on here. It's really cool. So I had that in my old room at my old house. So it's somewhere in this room. But yeah, we move on over here, and here's the other shelf piece. And this is the old plywood. I'm reusing all the old 1/8-inch plywood. This is just the glue beads from the Elmer's glue with the underlayment foam. So I'm recycling a lot, and on the floor I have a whole stockpile of extra lumber, and I have more lumber outside, and then back there's all the plywood from the old layout as well. I'm only throwing away one of those pieces because it has the $150 pond, and the pond is completely stuck to the plywood. Could not peel it up because it's like solid acrylic. Then also I have other wood outside that has to come in. More of these furring strips, the 1x4s, or not 1x4s, but what is it? A 1x1.5 furring strip here. So these are actually really, really nice. These are on clearance, and you can kind of straighten them out but they don't have to be perfect. We're just putting the plywood on top, so you won't even see it. But yeah, this is really coming along. All right, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this short video on the process of the bench work. Yeah, it's going to be a long journey this week getting this done, and I still need to buy track and such, but I like to at least get one loop of track running before next week's live stream. And I have some other ideas I'm playing around with, like possibly putting a triangular piece in each corner to give more room, I guess, or more run space when I put the 072 in, things like that. So I am playing around with those ideas, and also different underlayment. So before I was using the white foam, I might switch to like an indoor-outdoor carpet, or like a white carpet or a gray carpet, and then put scenery over top of that. I've seen a couple channels out there, a couple of my friends doing that as well to keep down on noise and vibration. So that is something I am considering, and plus you don't have all that white puffy foam stuff everywhere, which is just a mess. So got some things to contemplate here. But anyways, guys, if you're new to the channel, always consider subscribing and make sure to hit that bell so you don't miss content just like this. Love seeing your comments, and giving the video one of these really helps out the channel. Until next time, guys, I'll see you in part 2. Happy railroading. See ya.